Hi and welcome to It Matters. What do our children mean to us? They're a liability, even a commodity. A lot of people right now must be flinching at my thoughts. But there are people out there who not only believe in what I'm saying, but they also act on it. Thankfully, there are men and women around us who are working very hard to deter such criminals. One such person with us, Dr. Yamini Adbe, who's been dedicating 25 years of her life for this cause, is with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for calling me.
You work extensively in exposing medical malpractices like gender determination, illegal abortions. Can you share with us some of the cases that you've been involved in and what the process is like?
Yeah, I'm a member of PCP and DT Act. So basically, it's an act where you cannot predict the sex of the baby,
Right.
and there are mechanisms by which you can very well do it. But the government says you should not do it because of the taboos, because of the traditions. We don't accept girl as a welcoming member of the home. So then what we do, we are supposed to prevent it. So when we get the information that there is a clinic where the sex is determined, so that is then we plant a decoy. We keep a pregnant woman over there, and that lady, she's our decoy, and we get the affidavit procedures done, and the affidavits are made, and then we plant her there. The lady will confirm that the sex is determined, and it is conveyed to the lady, pregnant woman, and that is how then we go inside and catch the person. So we have all recordings. I can never forget one case of Maswar, that is a village in Satara. It's a deserted village. Basically, there is no vegetation or many houses. But this, we planted the decoy, what we do in normal practice. So our decoy and her husband, we made one lady, social worker, to act like her mother-in-law. So, and state vigilance squad was with us, and in one car I was there, and in one car the decoy was there along with the mother-in-law, so-called mother-in-law, and in one car state vigilance squad was there, and they practically kidnapped our decoy, pregnant decoy, along with the husband and that lady, social worker. They were kidnapped around 1 midnight, and that was the time we had to call for police security. Usually we don't carry security with us. It's not needed because we are enough strong to do the thing. But then at 1 we had to call the police. The decoy was kidnapped, and where they took the decoy was not known to me. I was wearing burqa that day because nobody should recognize that I am
Right.
from the team. People know me. So that was the time when we were chasing. We just got a hint. Some car moved from there. They are deserted places. There is nobody around. So I could make out there was a car standing, and I had a doubt that this was the car my decoy was carrying. So then I jumped inside. I went inside, and the moment I came inside, I found my decoy was, the door was latched, and the decoy along with the husband, they were inside that room. And I could find that goon also. He was standing just before me. In a fraction of I could see that goon, and I wanted to catch him. He ran, and he jumped from the roof, and he ran away. But we could chase the case, and trust me, the conviction was there. He was jailed. So that was a good case.
So, if a woman who's being forced by her in-laws or her family, husband, anybody, to either go for an illegal abortion or find the gender of a child, can she get in contact with you, and what is the recourse for her if she
Yes.
reports her own in-laws?
No, anyways, when when you oppose the crime, when you go against the stream, there are certain repercussions you have to go
Yes.
through. So I think that lady has to be brave, because the child is more important for a mom. The other persons cannot. She's the baby is the biological part of the body. So that is the part of the extended soul, I would say.
Absolutely.
So I think she should support the baby. No mother can kill the baby even if it is forced.
Yeah.
So she should oppose, and anyone can approach us anytime, 24/7. There are government helplines There are people around who can be contacted, who can approach us, and we can definitely take care of that.
You, because of your work that you do in
Mm-hmm.
medical malpractices and exposing doctors and families,
Mm-hmm.
you've been threatened. You've received
Mm-hmm.
threats. Does that play on your mind when you're going to work the next day? That no, I still have to do it. How do you deal with that?
No, threats, you can call it, the threats make you more strong and perfect, I believe. Because when you help a child, destitute child, or an orphan child, or a destitute woman, the people, it's a general, it's a common thing that somebody who is troubling a child, or who is exploiting a child,
Yeah.
abusing a child, they need to have very strong criminal beliefs.
Yes.
Otherwise, troubling a child, even a tough person cannot do.
It's not natural.
It's not natural. They are, devils, I believe. So, and when you help a destitute child or an orphan child, uh, the child doesn't know
Yeah.
that you are helping him. He cannot support you anyways. The gunda, that he knows that we are helping the child, and he's getting in loss.
Yes.
He's getting troubled, or he's getting jailed. So every day I earn enemies. That is my earning. And people who are very bad, who trouble the kids, they are my enemies.
Yeah.
So it's a routine now, I believe. I'm never scared. मुझे डर नहीं लगता किसी से. कभी नहीं डरती मैं.
That is fantastic. But what about your family? I mean, there have to be times when you're leaving the house and your husband, your children, they're like, be careful, don't be too adventurous.
Yeah.
How does your family handle the pressure?
I think they are very brave. And my daughter, she's a part of my soul. As I said, kids are always there. So she feels, कि डर लगता है मामा, be careful. Yeah. बीच में कुछ समय था जब मुझे बताया गया था कार के शीशे चढ़ा के चलो, क्योंकि there was a case of Vidyavati Ashram, and it was a hostile time. We never knew when they can attack you, because a 14-year girl was found pregnant in an orphanage, and I was fighting for her, and 14 kids were sold out, or they were killed, or they were sold out. We never know. They were missing. So that was the time when it was scary, and I was told to drive with the bodyguards and guns and all. But I think that is a part of your life. They have to accept mama is brave, and kids grow brave, when the
They
parents are
derive
brave.
their strength from
Yes,
you.
take care.
The other cases against children is sexual assault. Lots of them get reported, but a large number of cases don't get reported because the child knows the criminal who's assaulting them. They're scared or intimidated. What can parents look for, behavior-wise, changes in their child that can make them a little more careful, can read the signs if their child is being assaulted?
Yeah, it's a very important thing, because in a case of child abuse, 98% of cases are and the abuser is at home, or known to you. So I have rescued kids from the grandparents, then uncle, kaka, then rickshaw driver who carries them to school, or maybe a neighbor uncle. This is very common. So the parents they cannot take any relation for granted.
Yes.
Don't doubt the relations, but be careful.
Yes.
Let the child know difference between the good touch, bad touch, or the ethical approach and the unethical approach. And I think parents should be brave enough. They should be communicative to the kid, because the kid should know what is going on around. Nowadays I think in all good schools there are lessons of good touch, bad touch,
Yes.
and sex education at very early age. Let me tell you, I'm the one who had been rescuing kids from the worst cases of the planet, and still we lose. I lose, and still I fight, because the kids turn hostile in the court. There is no child friendly approach in the court. When adults are giving chief and examination in chief and cross examinations, they turn hostile because they are brief,
Yes.
or they are scared. Kids also get scared, but there is no supportive mechanism for them. So court doesn't believe, छोटा बच्चा है, डर गया. So
We
there is
need
no
to treat a
concept.
child differently than we
Absolutely, there
treat
should be a
adults.
counselor in the court. There should be
Absolutely.
preparations, and there should be some do's and don'ts for the lawyers also dealing with the kids. It's not there. It's not there. Recently, I had a case of child victim. His mother was killed when he was 4.5 years old, and by the father.
Oh my God.
And he was the only witness of that murder, and the judge was very good, so he allowed me to be in his room, and the child would sit in my lap, and the cross will be
Narrate
there.
his-
Yeah. But there, what I found, the stone was shown to the child. Was this the stone which was either, how your mother shouted? Did she? And why didn't you cry? Such questions. Why didn't you howl? The child was stunned, so he couldn't shout. So he couldn't call for the help, and so the nobody could come to the help. So such questions, the child would remember the thing, he would cry, and the case would be
So he's
postponed
reliving
again.
the trauma
So we
again
had,
and again.
absolutely, around 2 years we had been in the court regularly. The child would start crying, and the court will stop the thing. So, and then after coming home, I would tell the child, you have to forget. No, 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 nothing is happening. Again that trauma. That is something which is to be taken care. And we lose, juvenile cases we usually lose because, they cannot stand
But
for
I,
it.
I wanted to ask you, when we talk about juveniles in India, there are a lot of people who believe they get a free get out of jail card. They are not as accountable as they should be.
Yes.
When a 17-and-a-half-year-old or a 16-and-a-half-year-old is involved in a crime that is heinous,
Yes.
what is your point of view in how we should be meeting out their punishment? Because this person has planned and plotted, it's not a child anymore. So, what view do you take as an activist in dealing with these different cases?
Yeah. Now, my point of view that there are recent amendments in JJ Act.
Yes.
So, I think you must be aware of it. The thing is, there are two aspects. One is from the victim point of view, and one is from the offender point of view. If the medically after 14, the human being grows as an adult. He is an adult because the pediatrician doesn't treats him.
Yes.
So he is an adult, and his brain, because of the recent developments of media and social media and so many resources of knowledge, so he is almost an adult. So only he could rape, he could murder, he could plan highway robberies. And I have been a counselor in JJB also, Juvenile Justice Board. So what I found, they are almost adults, and that is why they are doing major crimes, and they are well aware that they will be left without scratch.
What is your view as somebody who's involved in seeing a lot of heinous crimes coming to light? People still are hesitant in going to the police. They worry if there's going to be sensitization to the cause. Is that just a misconception, or are there cases where police has been insensitive? In that case, what can a victim do to get some justice?
Yeah. Actually, the police is not so welcoming to the crime against kids. Even we have to struggle. People know us very well. Still, we have to struggle to get the right sections, or get the crime registered, or get the criminal booked, and get, the criminal is informed, you take anticipatory bail. Such kind of things also happen. So the thing is that one has to be very strong. The police is not sensitive at the lower level, but the higher officials, they are aware of their responsibilities. Approach higher level if the lower level is not encouraging you. So go to the higher level, or the best thing is write a letter to the higher level officer that he is not registering the case, and go to the police complaint authority. Nowadays, the police complaint authorities are established almost everywhere, and you can approach them, and they are like courts only. So they hear the things, the police officer is immediately called for, and you can put your ways.
With the different kind of cases you've been involved with, what are some of the things you think citizens should keep in mind when they are paying attention to the environment of their child? Everybody loves their child, everybody wants to protect, but we are missing some key maybe warning signs.
Yes.
What is it that parents can keep in mind when their children are going out of the house?
Yes, what I find very frequently, being a counselor in for the kids, so what I find always, there is the communication gap which creates all this. The child will never drift if there is a communication with the parents. You should know your kid. You should know how to read the kids, the lines between the words which they never say. That is the expression which they are giving that you have to read. And I think just giving them expensive material or expensive gadgets will not help. You have to come out with the communication skills. You have to come out with the solutions of their tiny tiny problems, and what happened around, what you are doing, what they love, what you love, the touch, the warmth, the eye contacts, the communications, they are the key points which will give you the idea what is going inside the heart of a child.
So time is something invaluable.
Absolutely.
No material thing can
Absolutely.
take away from that.
And I would say about the quality of time, not the
Yes.
quantity of time. That is more important. Even if you can share 1 hour with the child, the hour should be quality of time. It should not be playing an electronic game or some gadget. No, that is not the sharing. Sharing is between the two, heart to heart sharing.
I can spend an entire day talking to you because the kind of experience and cases you have seen, it's a vast knowledge that I think a lot of people can use. So thank you so much for your time. I learned one thing today. Our children are not a liability, whether it's a boy or a girl. They are not a commodity. They are joy to a woman who has longed for a child for many, many years. They are the future of the society. Let's protect them. Let's be a little more careful when we talk to them. Let's pay attention. It's not that hard to just speak to your own child about things that may be difficult. Let's make an effort because it matters.